Hi everyone, it's Monica and welcome back to Taylor-Made Cards for You. Well, it's finally finished. This is the haunted house that I have been working on, and I've been showing you little snippets of my progress. Well, I went ahead and I finally completed it last night, and I wanted to go ahead and share it with you before I do the final touches. And I'll show you at the end of the video what I still have to do. Now, this was a labor of love because I have never actually put together something this intricate before. But when I found the haunted house, I knew I wanted to put this together. And I not only found one of the haunted houses, but I found two. So I did grab them all, or both I should say, and I might make another one, but I haven't decided if I'm going to actually make another one or put together a kit for somebody to make on their own. So let me go ahead and walk you through what I did here, and then we can talk about some of the details. So the first thing that I did is I added this spider web paper. The box itself came with a designer background, as you can see in the background, and I did keep that, but I added spider web paper all the way on the sides, on the tops, and on the bottom, other than the top or the back of the attic. And then the next thing that I did is I got these tiny lights and I drilled, or I should say my husband drilled, a hole here, here, and here, because I wanted to be able to use the entire string of lights. So I had to loop them through because it is 2 stories. And as you can see, I was able to use one string of these tiny lights to light up the entire haunted house. So let me walk you through the attic. So the first thing that I did on the attic is I added the books. Now this is of course after I had already painted and created all my little pieces that I was going to use. I had to grunge this up. This is my crystal ball. And then I also had to grunge this up as well, which is what's holding my cauldron of bubbles. Now the tiny books were part of my kit of the month that I released this month over in my shop. And these are digitals that I created specifically for this haunted house. But I also made it available as a downloadable digital, so that way you can create your own tiny books. And this is how they actually come. They come with just the cover, and then what you can do is you can create the books. And then I do have a video showing you how I put these books together. So I went ahead and I glued down this skeleton here, and he's kind of back a little bit. And then I took the books and I glued them together, and then I also added glue at the bottom, and I just kind of shoved it right next to the skeleton head, and then I added this book to kind of frame it. And then I came in with this skeleton head and I just kind of butted it up against the back wall on the books, so that was what was holding my books together. And then on this side, these are the little scrolls that I actually created, and I created these with some vintage paper that I have, and I just rolled them up, I tied them, and I made them look like little scrolls. And then I got a vintage thimble that I stuck back in the way back. You can kind of see it, and that's what the scrolls are in. I added some moss, and then I just glued the scrolls in, and then I also added a scroll in the back, just kind of laying up against the back of the wall. I added a poison bottle that I just glued down. And then I added these 2 candles here, which were from the Holtz Idea-ology collection. And then I added, finally, my crystal ball. And that created the attic. Now going down to the bottom, as you can see, I did add one of the long bands. And this is actually from last year but I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of screws here as well. But I did add some of my foundry wax on this, and then I added some white crayon to make sure that the letters did pop a little bit. I had 2 frames from Holtz's Idea-ology collection, and I added some of those sticker images that came in one of the Halloween sticker books a few years ago. They actually fit perfectly. And then for my fortune teller here, or my witch, however you want to see her, I ended up using, and you can kind of see here, I ended up using a piece of cardboard to kind of hold her up because I didn't want her moving, and she's pretty secure. And then I added some glue down here, and then I added glue to the base of this here, so that way she would be upright. Now the cauldron, my white baubles, and these are in my shop, I turn them green using some of my alcohol ink, and I just kind of roll them in this cup. And then I put them into my cauldron and I glued them down. And then I glued my cauldron onto this finished urn. I also have a broomstick that is from the Idea-ology collection, and I actually had to trim a little bit of the wood off of the broom handle and a little bit of the broom, whatever they're called, the broom part, to make it fit into the bottom of my haunted house. And originally I was going to glue it at the back of the house. I don't know if you can still see some of those some of that glue remnant. But I thought it kind of looked like a spider web, so I ended up just leaving it there rather than trying to take it off. Now, as I said, this for the most part is complete, but I am going to put it onto a stand, and let me show you what I'm going to do for that. I didn't want to necessarily do that before I shared with you because I thought it would be hard to show some of the details. Now this is the stand that it's going to go on, and I'm going to paint it black, and it will just kind of sit just like this. And then I'm going to have some tombstones that I'm going to paint and grunge up that will be in the front. I'm going to add some moss. I might actually add a path here too. I haven't decided. And then I'm going to add this little fence here that I'll glue on. So when it's complete, it can be displayed on the stand. Now I had a great time putting this together. It was really a lot of fun to just kind of take my time and come up with the ideas for the haunted house. I had to kind of shop around for the items that I wanted, and I also had to create some items as well. So I didn't have to necessarily buy everything. I created some of the items myself. So I hope that you've liked my walkthrough of my haunted house. I do have a second house that I haven't decided if I'm going to put it together yet, or I might put it together as a kit for somebody. So I would love to hear your thoughts of my haunted house in the comments below. And if you are interested in perhaps purchasing the one kit, if I do decide to sell it, let me know in the comments. And then if I do decide to list it, I'll make sure that I tag you for that as well. But I think I'm just going to enjoy this just for a little bit longer. And then I'll decide if I'm going to make another one, keep this one, sell it. I just haven't quite decided yet, but at this point I'm just kind of enjoying it. So I will start to tape my 7 days of Halloween. It's a series that I do every year, and I'll be mostly making paper products, not anything this extravagant. These are really hard to actually tape when you're creating them because they're kind of a work in progress. But I will start to tape my 7 days of Halloween over the next couple of weeks. So if you want to be notified, make sure you are subscribed to my channel and make sure that you do hit that bell. And if you've enjoyed my video today of my walkthrough of my haunted house, make sure that you leave me a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. All right, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.